No, I tranked him. Basically, like, he's as big as a horse. I gave him horse tranquilizers, which I think is inappropriate.
On this week's episode of Art of the Short, Jori and Bethers flip the script on Jack Reacher, blast male bravado, and really hit sports idioms out of the park.
We'd like to remind you that all episodes of Art of the Short contain explicit content and a masterful amount of spoilers.
If you'd like to read the story before entering, a free link is provided in the show notes.
Or if you give no f***s whatsoever, just keep listening.
Art of the Short is an interactive literary art installation. We overextend our opinions on short stories and make art of our interpretations.
Like, Jori will probably wear a bowler's hat and act out the inner monologue of our protagonist using only a finger puppet. The hat will not be featured.
Stuff like that. Join in the conversation and send us your artwork to add to the gallery at artoftheshort.com.
And follow the installation on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook at Art of the Short to see what others think of this short story through their art. Hi, Jori.
Hi.
Hi. How are you?
I'm good. This week was an interesting week as
Why is
far as
that?
art goes.
Oh, like a new medium?
I think it's funny, but I'll see what you think about it.
Okay.
So I've thrown you a little bit of a curveball,
That's exciting. I think it's funny that I think you have something to look forward to on the charcoal front.
Oh, I love a charcoal.
I really underutilized the medium. Just really underutilized it.
Can I just also correct myself? I hate sports terminology, and I used throw you a curveball, and I just hate it.
Oh. Well, listener, now you know.
This week's short story is by Lee Child, a New York Times bestselling author best known for his thriller series on character Jack Reacher. With over 100 million copies sold and a TV series in the works, Child announced that he would be retiring his Reacher writing, handing it over to his brother, also a thriller writer, to continue the legacy. Child is a lover of music, coffee, and the occasional puff of cannabis. So much so that he co-wrote a Jack Reacher-themed album with the band Naked Blue and has a Jack Reacher coffee line sold worldwide. Perhaps we'll see a cannabis product next. It's very on trend. And yes, the Jack Reacher Naked Blue album is on Spotify, and we encourage you to go check it out.
This story is called... What's it called?
It's not called Free Jack Reacher.
Free Jack Reacher short story.
This story is called Everyone Talks.
Everyone Talks by Lee Child. This is a short story. He's a novelist, but he gave us a little something here with a female protagonist, which he wrote really convincingly, I thought. She's new to the force.
Yes.
She's a detective.
Yeah, she's really good at interrogating. And so
She's
they were
really
like,
good.
This girl can make people talk. Let's give her that promotion.
And she has like the shittiest assignment her first day, which is to go report on a shooting wound. Someone who was shot.
Yeah.
And then the detective lady, who I do think remains nameless throughout this.
Yeah.
Which
Yeah,
is
she does.
really something. More to say on that. She goes to the hospital and tries to speak to the nurse. The nurse is kind of like dodging her questions, I guess.
Yeah, like the doctor finally is like, okay, you can look at him through the window, but you can't go in and talk to him.
Yeah.
He happens to be naked from the waist up, so she's looking at him through the window. She can read like his heart monitor and stuff.
Okay,
and so
thank you for saying that, because like my dad, I don't know if you remember when he was like a heart monitor reader for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
And like the way that the author or the narrator like just drops weird heart monitor terminology, I found very confusing and like disorienting. Anyway, I think he wakes up.
He wakes up and somehow she's able to go into the room and start talking to him. And she's, you know, the whole time she's like, she's not pushy, but she's like gonna get her job done, and no matter what someone tells her. And so, yeah, she ends up going in. He wakes up. He's like kind of totally okay. Like he's not like groggy or
Like
anything.
suspiciously okay.
Yeah. And then he starts to tell her his story.
And at this point, we jump completely away from the detective entirely and just go into what is essentially like a mini Jack Reacher story.
Yeah.
Which is what I think the author wanted to tell from the start. And so it starts with this guy, Jack Reacher. We learn that's who this person is.
Yeah.
He's in a new town and he goes to like the one bar.
Right.
And I don't know if he's like looking for trouble. I found his motive to be a bit confusing. Like, why does he care what's happening in the bar?
Yeah. He needs to like maintain kind of a little like adrenaline rush.
He's like a hero complex or something.
Yeah, we find out that he was raised by military officers in that world, traveling around the world, and then he became part of some sort of military system. And so he's like, he knows his shit. Now he's just like retired and travels the world in kind of like a nomad style or something.
I don't need it though. I mean, I guess it's like this is the same complaint people have about superheroes, like that they're essentially vigilantes. What's the word?
Vigilantes?
Yeah.
Vigilantes?
Oh, wait. Like, really, if you think about it from other people's perspective, like, what are they doing? Causing more harm and ruckus?
Oh,
like,
sure,
inserting
I guess.
themselves, into things.
Yeah.
So I feel like he has that hero complex. Like,
Yeah.
just drink your beer.
Yeah, that's not the American way.
Like, carry on with your night,
Yeah.
sir. But that's not what he does. He like starts chatting up the waitress, who's of course attractive.
Mm-hmm.
Like, how dare could we have the one woman be not hot and sexy? Like, that's not on the table.
Not at all.
Not a possibility.
She's got a really nice butt, Bethany.
Mm-hmm. And he told her so.
And a nice face.
And a nice face. And she doesn't want it broken. She tells him repeatedly. She has kids. He sees like some big thug of a man in the bar who's like suspicious to old Jack. And so Jack starts trying to like talk up the waitress and like get the deets on what's this guy's deal. And the waitress zips her lip.
Oh, yeah. The owner of the bar comes in and then he goes and gets like an envelope from the back room and quickly hands it to this dude who's like some sort of thuggish guy who has some power over the bar. That's what we're learning. Pretty obvious. And then
he just figures it out. Like, he figures out that like if the owner's paying someone else off, ding, 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 we've got ourselves some sort of mobster sort of.
Yeah. And the whole time, because of his military background, he is like, I never thought I'd be having this kind of conversation.
You're welcome, Jori.
You
said you wanted variety. You said you wanted
it. I'm thoroughly enjoying it. It's making my brain think in a different way, which is good. Somehow he can like break down any type of person in any situation, no matter what. He knows what they're going to do. He can predict what they're going to say, if they're going to fight, if they're going to talk, if they're going to run. And he's right every time.
Yeah.
He knows.
And so then we get what like the readers of these novels, I think, are here for, which are action scenes, baby. We get a little tussle.
A little punch to the teeth.
He wants to punch him in the cigarette smoker or whatever he said.
So then, like, he gets all this information out of this guy. He knows, like, the dealer of the dude, like, the handler, like, the boss man, Kubota. So, of course, he finds him because he's good at everything. And then that's kind of where you think it's landing.
Yes.
And then the scene changes back to the detective and her perspective. They go and they're like, we can arrest him finally. We've had this file on him forever and we can't ever catch him on anything. But now we have this dude in the hospital with a gunshot wound and this story about the bar and blah, 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 blah.
Yes.
So they go that night and they catch Caputo. I want to say Caputo from like Orange is the New Black, but that's not the right thing. Caputo is a good.
Coke can. Does that mean anything to you?
Coke can?
Mm-hmm. That's what they call him.
Caputo?
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember that.
They call him a Coke can because he has a big penis.
Oh my God. I forgot.
The interrogation's working, but then she hits like a bit of a wall.
Yeah.
And she's like, okay, this is the part where you confess that you shot Jack Reacher. And he won't confess, even though he's confessed to literally every other charge
crime
against him.
Yeah.
So it kind of ends on a cliffhanger.
They still get to put Caputo in jail.
Kubota.
Kubota, sorry. Their job, in their eyes, they're like, we did it, boys.
And they're all applauding for her.
Yeah, they're cheering for her because she caught this big crook that's been in town.
But Jack Reacher has mysteriously disappeared.
Yeah.
And something about the nurse is someone's relative.
She's like, they're all being lazy about their job. I think I need to dig a little deeper because something feels a little too easy here. And so she digs deeper and she finds out that the bar owner is related to the doctor that treated the dude.
Jack Reacher, the one that was like being dodgy.
She's like, this is weird. When she goes back to the hospital, and at the hospital, everyone's denying that ever happened. That they're like, you can check my records. All the nurses won't talk. The doctor's like, look, he was never here. I never treated this guy.
There's no record of Jack Reacher ever having been there.
So Jack Reacher does it again. Takes down a crime boss, mysteriously disappears into the night.
Yeah, that's it. That's a wrap. So that is both of our first Jack Reacher exposures. This short story is from his first short story collection. So there's more where this came from, baby.
Shit.
I had an ex-boyfriend that would buy the Jack Reacher novels the day they came out.
Oh my God, really? Mm-hmm. I think I know who that ex-boyfriend is.
There's really only one that it could be.
Start with a D?
Yeah, there's really only one that
and
it could
end
be.
with a CK? Just kidding. Just kidding. I'm not, though.
Sick burn.
Bethany, what did you think this was going to be?
Oh, great question. Great question. What did I think this was going to be? Oh, exactly this. A story about the world famous spy. I guess I thought maybe he'd be like a spy or like a Born Identity CIA operative or something. I guess I thought he'd maybe be a bit more international. But yeah, I definitely knew Jack Reacher was going to give us some action. It is what I thought it would be in that sense.
Like, once I saw the cover art, like the only place that I would like probably see this is in like the book section in Safeway or something. Like,
absolutely.
That's where I've seen it, like across from the toilet paper at Safeway.
World famous.
Which I thought was funny because I was not expecting Bethany to pick a crime thriller short story for the day.
Throwing you a fastball.
I hate that. I hate it. I hate it.
What it was so over the top, like kind of, I thought it was like a film noir, like a joke. Like I had a vision of like Star Trek when they go on the holodeck.
Oh my God, that's a perfect
and they like get to
description.
Like cosplay.
Yes.
It's so melodramatic. It's so over the top, but it's not actually a joke. Like this is really, it's not a joke. So what it was shocking to me, like just how silly and fun and lighthearted it was. Like it doesn't take itself seriously at all.
Yeah.
So what it also was like trying to have female perspective, which was such a joke. You should not have even tried. It was
I was
so
like pulling my hair out.
Lame. It was so lame. Here's how it starts. This is the opening line, and then I'll just give you some little hits. There are written rules and unwritten rules, and I hit one of each on my first day in the department.
Oh, yeah.
But rules were rules. Times 2 for a woman in a man's world. And I was like, what? This is not a joke. This is not a joke.
Also, like it's really written like a stereotypical,
like almost like a comic
hardcore
strip.
New York cop office. So like everyone talks like this. And so even though she's like female and probably has a little more nuance than that, she's like, hey. And then I went over here.
Over there.
And everything's
okay, go.
With like really short sentences.
Yes, they're the shortest sentences I've ever seen. It's like staccato, like boo, 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 boo,
yeah.
boo, boo, boo. Like here's a whole sentence. Caliber? Here's another one. You want to watch him sleep? Here's another one. Not very nice.
Oh my God.
Like,
you know what's really funny? The whole time I was reading this, I was thinking about, I don't know, have you seen that movie that's Meryl Streep and it's called Let Them All Talk?
The new one. No, I haven't.
Like people are fanning like hardcore about this crime thriller writer, and Meryl Streep's character is like, what do you see in his writing?
Right.
And I say that because I did read it and I was like, well, I want to see what happens at the
Yes,
end.
absolutely.
I was like, it's fine. They might be like 3-word sentences. Like, no hate. There's a product for everyone, I suppose. And I understand.
That's
it's like
right.
your French fries. You want French fries. They're delicious. Mm-hmm. So anyways, I will say that.
Yeah, his work has been called hard-boiled and commercial.
Yeah.
And it was written with like really cheesy things done for international appeal, like very purposefully. He's actually British. So he's writing in an American style, which is really embarrassing, I think. Like he thought to himself, here's what the people want and here's what America's like.
Yeah.
And here's what they're going to eat up.
But he's doing it, right?
He is doing it. Oh, he's doing it.
And I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
I don't think so either. He doesn't either. He's not apologetic.
If you want to make money and you know how to do it,
Totally.
then good for you. Like if that brings you satisfaction and whatever.
And it brings people satisfaction. Like
Totally.
he wants to be entertaining, and he is. I was entertained.
I was entertained.
I'd like to share with you some more of these sentences because I just can't get enough. A very distinctive guy. He was on his back because the guy was huge, as it should. A giant, a slab of a man, ridged with muscle, not old, not young either.
I mean, I was
so
trying to
good.
like pull some meaning from the story because I do think it's just like, it's clearly just for entertainment. Like,
Yes.
And I was like, well, I guess for me, my takeaway for this story is going to be
Excited to hear.
being female and working in a male-dominated environment and having to deal with that on a daily basis. Like, how do you fight your way to get to where you need to be? I know I have to work 3 times harder than everyone here. Like,
Yeah.
And in the end, she still gets kind of fucked over because the dude saves the day.
I just feel like that's also reflected in like what he did though as a writer. Like I can imagine Lee Child sitting down and being like, okay, I'm going to do it. I have this opportunity with a short story. I'm going to make a female protagonist. This is my moment. And he couldn't even do it. Like he only wrote 2 paragraphs about her and then immediately jumped to what he's comfortable with.
Yeah.
Which is like this man leading charge. So even if the experiment is to show that, like, he failed to even do it himself. Like,
Oh my God.
he turned
course.
3/4 of the story back over to his male main
Yeah.
character, even when he supposedly was writing a woman.
Totally. The like amount of like male dominant bullshittery
Yeah.
that happens.
I would call it entitlement. Like, they're entitled to speak.
Yeah.
They're entitled to speak for as long as they want.
Yeah.
They're entitled to have men be in the center. Like, men are entitled to be in the center of every story, even if it's not their story. I mean, like, the layers of it go on and on.
Yeah.
They're entitled to not consider how their actions are affecting other people.
They're entitled to have an opinion about something that they're completely wrong about and can't even understand that they're wrong about it.
Yeah.
Because they're so far up their own asses.
Jory,
Sorry, yes.
I guess you could say they really hit a foul ball.
You've been like waiting on more. Do you have like a little notepad?
I
of,
don't,
like,
but I should have
more?
because I only really know a couple.
Bethany, that was a slam dunk.
Thank you. Oh my God, thank you.
Boo, boo, boo.
I love jock jams, just by the by.
What would you rate this little short story of masculine
Bravado.
Yeah.
You know, I'm going to give old Jack Reacher 4 out of 5 cigarette punches, baby.
I don't know. I think I'm going to give it, I'm going to give it a 2 out of 5, but I do think it was entertaining still. Mm-hmm. I didn't get to say smoke face punch.
My art. Now that I'm seeing it, I'm realizing how random this is. When I chose this as my subject, I thought it was honestly a bit clever. Now, having just spoken about the story, I see that it is only random.
Oh, okay, I'm excited. And it is a bottle, like a little charcoal drawing of a rolling rock beer bottle, because one of the scenes when the dude is in the bar, he's ordering Rolling Rock the whole time.
Look at how scary that horse is, because I hit it with the wrong half of my charcoal.
It's a horse.
It does not look like a horse.
I thought it was a man flexing his biceps or whatever those are.
Yeah, it's really upsetting when you realize it's a horse.
But I actually like this, though. You could sell this to Rolling Rock and maybe they'll use it in their ads.
Yeah, I think it's cool. Mm-hmm. And I was also going to bring up to you, Jori, I think the only time I've ever drank Rolling Rock is at our home in Seattle.
Where you put like the straw in it so it's getting air and then you drink it really fast.
In order to chug it.
So stupid.
Yes. I guess I just really fixated on that detail because what a weird choice. Like, of all the beers, I'm going to go with Rolling Rock.
This is going to take your participation here.
Oh, I'm excited. I'm excited. Oh, it's, dear listener, I've received what looks like a Word document. Oh my goodness. I don't know. I think this is some sort of script or something. I'm not entirely sure.
I decided to continue the story.
Oh my God, amazing. I love.
So,
okay, what do I do? Do you want me to read it? The way I saw it, my options were slim. I could go on like we did our duty, cleaning up the trash that walks among the city streets, taking out those that lurk down dark alleys, where the only light in life is from the flickering bulb that's as neglected as the people who live here. Carrying the burden of knowing the truth, just to maintain respect from these clowns and their unwritten rules. Or take the lead. Straighten these jokers out and show them how to do their jobs. To be better. To do the work like it should be done so we can get the city cleaned up and safe again. What's the worst that could happen? They laugh at me? Maybe a transfer? Fire me for calling their lazy asses out? Worse? I ask myself, is my integrity worth the risk? Like I said, women have to work twice as hard to get half the credit.
Like I said, I was trying to find something. I was trying to find something in that story that we could like take from.
That is incredible.
A little.
It was too good though, Jori. Like there were sentences that were like complex and had like comma breaks.
I actually tried to write really short sentences.
No, you only wrote 2. The rest of them were like long and coherent and like showed her inner life.
Oh my God. Well, I just thought I needed to represent. I thought I needed to represent just a tiny bit more.
You gave her like motive style. And like an inner thought worlds that you gave her more than Lee Child ever did.
Out of the short.
On the next episode of Art of the Short, Little Shorties, we'll be reading
The Comedian by Yoko Morgenstern.
As always, a free link to this short story is in our show notes for you.
And we want to see what you make. So send us your artwork, please, at artoftheshort.com and follow the installation on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook at artoftheshort and be a part of this installation. What do you think about Lee Child? What do you think about Jack Reacher? What do you think about Nameless Female Detective? I love you. Bye. Bye. His book title, like the book front, cover front, page front. What the fuck am I trying to say? The cover of his book.
Hole in one. Came out of left field.
I hate
you
that.
You are American.